and welcome to our Postwork Shop webinar. My name is Ray and I'm going to be your host for today. First off, I just want to make sure that everybody can hear me okay. So I'm just going to kind of ramble here just for a little bit, and if anybody is having any problems, please just type that in to Karen so she can go ahead and let me know. For those of you that are new to Postwork Shop, it is an imaging program that can take your original picture and alter it in a myriad of artistic ways with some very stunning results. It can transform an image to look like a pencil drawing, a watercolor, an oil painting, or a pen and ink, just to name a few of those different styles. Or you can actually take all of those styles, throw it against the wall, and mix all of them together, blending each style individually, which will ultimately result in your final image. Postwork Shop gives you the ability to easily and instantly take images in new directions, or directions you actually never thought possible. Postwork Shop is available on the web at postworkshop.net. Here you can find out more about the program. You can also view and watch one of the many tutorials that they have. There's also a gallery there, so view some of the fantastic art that others are creating with this program. And if you have a question about a feature, a style, or anything else, there's a form there to answer any and all of your questions. Postwork Shop comes in 3 different flavors here, so be sure to check out each one and see which one works best for you. Postwork Shop is definitely an essential tool in any artist bag. Now, a little bit about myself. I am a 3D artist and content creator. I can model, texture, and rig figures, props, and assets, both for high poly content, which would be for film or television, and low poly content, which would be for game type scenarios. I use 3ds Max, ZBrush, and Photoshop to create some of my art. Please feel free to contact me and visit my website at www.darkedgedesign.com. I am always open to new ventures and collaborations. All right, well, with that, let's go ahead and take a peek here at Postwork Shop. Now, with the compositing tab selected here, you'll see a center panel that will house our final image. The image in this panel will change with each style or effect that we apply to our image. And down below that, we're going to have our objects panel. And this is where our original image is going to be brought into Postwork Shop. You can import more than one image here and superimpose those images over each other. You can also apply some text from down here at the bottom, or you can apply some different guide layers and superimpose that over your image as well. Next to that is our style layers panel, and this is where we bring Postwork Shop's magic into play. This is where we'll be starting to build our final image. We will most often be creating a stack of layers and adjusting their properties to influence each other. One of the influences that we'll be using are the blending modes, and you can see those here. If you have ever worked inside of Photoshop, you'll be very familiar with these modes, as they work in the very same way. If you have absolutely no experience in Photoshop, then these modes will become obvious in their nature with a little exploration and juice. And we're going to be using some of these modes later on, so you'll get a chance to see them in action. One of the other properties we can adjust is our opacity levels. Now, next to this panel is our, let's see here, just need to move something. There we go. Next to that is our projects, styles, and properties and preview panel. Briefly, the projects panel is going to allow us to save our whole working image here, all of the layer styles and all of the settings that go with them, and they will be saved as a project. This is going to give you an opportunity to go ahead and return at a later time and continue working on your image without losing your place. All of your settings will be saved, and all of the settings can still be adjusted. So this just allows you to come back at a later time. Next is our styles panel, and this is really the main core of where Postwork Shop is housed and where you'll be doing most of your work from. Each style, all by itself, can be very useful, and that's very much an understatement. But when you use these different styles in combination together, Postwork Shop really starts to flex its muscles and can perform at a very high level. There's also the properties and preview panel here, and this is where we can alter the individual style layer properties and default settings. Do not overlook this panel. It is extremely powerful and can change the impact and look of the style that you have selected. This panel gives you the ability to change and manipulate each style's parameters, and so you're never really locked into what Postwork Shop serves up. It can always be changed and altered. And changes really are as simple as just moving some sliders around. Now, right next to the properties panel here is a little triangle. If I click this, I can see that the that my preview is opened up alongside of my styles panel, and it's possible to go ahead and have everything right before you on the screen. So no more clicking between tabs to see anything. It's possible to have everything right here. Yeah, I mean, why make creating art more difficult, right? This is pretty simple. Now, we also have a style editor, so I'm going to come over here and click on that. And that's going to present us with a different way of interacting and looking at our layer styles. This is more of a node-based linear type approach. If you've worked in 3D programs before, then this setup will be familiar to you. It's much the same way as if you're applying materials to your object. You have input and output slots that get plugged into each other, and we'll be going more over this later on. And let's see here. Lastly, we have the batch processing tab, which is going to allow us to render multiple projects at once. You just fill in your target and source information and press start. We can also grab our panel bars here and move them around to go ahead and alter our workspace. It's just another way that you can go ahead and set this up however it works best for you. We can also come over here to our options and click on the different layout styles. Now we can move our objects in a couple of different ways. Let's say if we just bring some text onto the stage here, what I can do is move that text around in my image by coming down here and grabbing that. I can also grab the whole 9 yards here and move everything around. If I just come down here and double click this icon, it's going to go ahead and center everything up. And then along the top here is where we have all of our global functions that can be used inside a Postwork shop. All right, so let's go ahead and start a new image here. So I'm going to click on New Project. And we have a couple of different ways we can actually bring an image onto the screen. We can grab New Image, we can load a recent one, or I can actually come down here and, sorry about that, and bring up an image to that. So let's go ahead and bring up that one. Now, to go ahead and enlarge this, I can either grab this guy and move it back and forth, or I can just double click it, which is going to enlarge it on my screen. Now, before we actually apply a style, we can throw all caution to the wind and come right down here to this dice icon and just start clicking it. And what that's going to do is apply styles completely at random over our picture. Sometimes this is a great way for starting out, kind of just waiting for something that catches your eye. Now another neat function about the die is we click on the triangle right next to it and we can see all of the different styles that it randomly picked for us. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and bring our original image back on and delete that. Now, applying a style is very easy, so I'm just going to randomly come up here and just double click, and then that style is going to be applied to our image. And there you go. You can see the difference between these two. Now how cool is that? With one click of a button, I can go from this to this. And that's one of the beauties of Postwork Shop. Its ease of use and the way that this program is open to all levels of artists. If today is day 1 or year 50 of your journey as an artist, it makes no difference. This program is accessible and beneficial to everybody. But this program is not only accessible to all, it is capable of handling whatever you can throw at it, regardless of your skill level. Now, let me just be honest here for a second. Everybody watching this webinar right now is an artist, right? And you've been artists all of your lives in one way or another, probably. Now, we've all been around the block and have tried a myriad of different tools and programs through the years to assist our evolution in art. Now, some of these tools and programs we've tried were okay for us at one level, but once we passed that level, that tool or program became unuseful because we outgrew it. And then there are other programs that promise to deliver the goods, deliver that uncanny valley that we seek after. But those programs were so complex that you either dropped them after a year or two, or it was only after a year or two that you finally started to get a handle on it and use it effectively. To those of you nodding your heads right now, you know what I'm talking about. Postwork Shop is the best of both worlds. You can easily and quickly change and move your art into exciting new directions. And Postwork Shop is powerful enough to grow with you as an artist and to grow with you as you learn to use and manipulate the program. So let's do a totally new project here. And let's load up portrait. Now what I'm going to do is go ahead and do a couple of layer styles here and layer some stuff. So I'm going to Let's grab a advanced pencil sketch. Now, as I bring this over and I bring it onto the layer itself, you're going to see that the layer starts highlighting in different areas. And what that's telling you is that you can go ahead and lay this style in a couple of different positions. We can either replace this layer altogether, we can place it on top, we can place it on the bottom, we can actually nestle it within the layer and place it at the beginning, or we can nestle it and place it at the end. I'm just going to go ahead and replace this layer for now. And then you can see here is our image. All right, well, so far so good, but maybe I think that the pencil sketch is a little too strong and I want to tone this down a little bit. To do that, I'm going to make use of, let's see, our blur filter here. So I'm going to, where are we? Let's close this up. Excuse me, just for 1 second. Okay, well, I seem to have lost my blur filter here momentarily, so I'm just going to go ahead and move on. On top of this, I think I'm going to go ahead and come over here to painting techniques, and let's grab a watercolor 3. I'm going to add that right on top. All right. I see what's happening here. You're going to have to excuse me for a moment. My computer is locking up for a second, so I'm going to go ahead and shut down Postwork Shop, and just excuse me for 1 minute, please. Again, very sorry about that. All right. Now let's just go ahead and try this from square one more time. Let's bring our portrait onto the stage. And all right, now let's grab a watercolor. And actually, I'm going to grab a brown water sketch and just replace this. And then let's grab a watercolor and throw that on top. You can go ahead and just bring that down a little bit. And then let's come over here to painting. Well, let's grab a fresco and add that on top of that. Now I can, let's go ahead and grab a blending style here. I'm going to grab luminosity and just kind of bring this down a little bit. Okay, now that's looking pretty good. I think we could actually add a little bit of some texture. So I'm going to grab a building block, simple styles, and grab a texturizer. Now I'm actually going to apply this texturizer to the brown water sketch, but I'm going to apply it at the very end of it. And what that's going to do is it's going to apply a kind of a canvas setting here to our image, and you can see that there. If I click the Properties and Preview panel, here are the parameters where I can go ahead and adjust that texture. I can make it stronger, weaker. All right. And if I want to, I can go ahead and apply the original image to the top of all this. And let's go ahead and just give this like a soft light and bring that down a little bit. Now you can see the difference between our two images here. Not too bad, right? I mean, this is very nice. We still have the impact or the main composition, but we're able to really alter it and tweak it in a really nice way. And that's just kind of using our styles and some blending modes. All right, I'm going to open up a new project again, and let's bring up a new piece of art here. Now, I'm going to show you something using a very basic linear approach here. And this is going to show you how easy and fast you can take an image from point A to point B. And what we're going to be doing is creating an impasto effect. So I'm going to come over here to my styles, building blocks, simple style, and double click random paint. And then there's our image. And then now what I'm going to do is come over here to basic imaging and grab an emboss, and I'm going to place that at the end of the layer. And then there's our impasto effect. Now don't forget about the properties and preview panel over here. We can select each style that we have in here. I have the emboss and I have the random painter, and I can go ahead and just start moving stuff around and gets different effects. If for whatever reason you've moved things and you really kind of want to go back to the default values that Postwork Shop has, if we just come down right here and we have this icon down here for these two sliders, just click that and Postwork Shop is going to go back to its default values for those styles that you have selected. Now, here's the difference between the original image and the one that I just created. I'm telling you guys, this program is awesome. I mean, good luck taking this original image into Photoshop or Painter and creating this kind of effect in the amount of time that we just did. Now I'm just opening up new projects here, and we'll just try something else. We'll go back to our portrait. And what I'm going to do is show you some hotkey functions. So first off, let's grab a sketch, and I'm just going to double click that. And that gets appeared on our center stage now. And then I'm going to come over here to painting, expressionism, and I'm going to be working with the expressionism 1 filter. Now if I want to add this filter above this layer, what I'm going to do is hold down Shift and double click on it. And then you can see that that layer gets applied above. If I want to apply it below, I'm going to hold down Control and Shift and double click on it. And then it gets applied below that layer. If I want to apply that the style on the same layer but apply it to the left or before it, I'm going to hold down Control and Alt and double click it, and it gets applied before. If I open up the style editor, you can see what's happening here. Here's our original sketch, and here's the expressionism filter that we just applied. Control Z is going to undo, and then if I wanted to go ahead and place that at the end, what I'm going to do is just hold down Alt and double click. And then it gets applied at the end of the layer. And again, you can see that in the style editor. Now to apply styles to the layers, we can also come up here to our top toolbar and click on layers. And we can go ahead and apply these styles through a drop-down right here. All right, now let's do another hotkey function and bring a new image on. Let's do a building. And I'm going to grab the building block, simple style, and simple stroke. I'm just going to double click that. I'm going to come down here to Photo, Special Effects, and let's grab a history. And I'm going to Control Alt, and what that's going to do is place it at the beginning. And then let's grab a Antique Sepia, and we're going to place that at the end. So I'm going to hold down Alt and double click that. Okay, and then there's our image. Here's our style editor. We have our original simple strokes. I placed a history at the beginning and then an Antique Sepia at the end. All right, but we're not done yet, okay? So let's come back over here to Graphic Arts, and let's grab a simple manja. And what I'm going to do is hold down Shift and double click, and that's going to create a new layer above. Now I'm going to go ahead and apply a blending of a soft light to that. You can see how we just keep building up this image and kind of the different effects that we can get. Now I'm going to go ahead and just try some different styles here just on this layer with the soft light blending mode applied. So I'm going to, let's grab a painting techniques and how about a brown water sketch. So Control, double click, and then there's our new style. How about one of these? All right, and let's, just for the heck of it, let's try this guy, and we'll place him at the end of the chain. And how about that? Here's our original image, and here's our final outcome. If we look in the style editor, we can see what's happening here. Here's our original simple strokes. Let me bring this up. I am bringing these up and down by using my mouse wheel on my mouse. So you can bring these, enlarge them, and make them smaller. Here's our original simple strokes. Here's our history, our sepia, and then here is the impressionism and the expressionism that we added over the top. And again, the difference between those two images. I mean, this is really nice. This is very fast, and we're kind of, in an effect, just throwing stuff against the wall and seeing how it works. And I think that's awesome. That's just very awesome. All right, now let's go ahead and once again, we're going to open up a new project, and we're going to work inside the style editor a little bit. And what we're going to do is we're going to see, we're going to have the Expressionism 1 filter. Just going to drag that onto the stage. And this is going to be driving some other filters for us. And this is going to give you an opportunity of seeing just a different way of working inside the style editor. I'm going to grab my image and just plug it in. All right, and then there we go. Now I'm going to grab the bold and the beautiful and bring that over here. And then I'm going to grab the output of the expressionism and plug it into here. And then you can see what the outcome is. Go ahead and open that up, and I can see everybody at once. Now the expressionism filter is driving how the bold and beautiful filter is applied. So with a fairly cool result too. You can see the outcome or the outline of expressionism, and you can see that reflected over here in the bold and colorful, but the bold and colorful colors are coming through here. Now let's do another one here. Let's grab drying ink, and let's grab a hard ink drawing. And again, I'm going to grab the output and plug that into the input. And you can see the outcome. Again, we have the outline of the expressionism, but the hard ink drawing is being applied. So, and again, you can see the final image over here on the right-hand side, just those two different styles. Now I'm going to go ahead and lower these a little bit, and let's drag this guy down here. Now, let's go ahead and use the expressionism at the end of the chain. So let's grab a graphic arts and manage it with vertical lines. And then let's do a painting, techniques, and a brown water sketch. Grab our original image, plug it into the input, plug this into that, and then that into the expressionism. And then you can see what's happening here. So we have our sketch, and we tone it down a little bit with our brown water sketch, kind of warms it up, and then at the end of that is our expressionism. Again, this is a fairly cool result. And these two filters in front, are just kind of changing and driving the expressionism one. Now, we also have these two guys who are sitting here at the very end of the line, and they're not doing anything. Well, let's go ahead and bring those into play. I can grab the hard ink drawing and drag that right up there, and drag the bold and beautiful right below that. Come back into my compositing and grab the manja, and let's see here. Let's go ahead and set this to a multiply. And there you go. We can go ahead and change this layer to something else just by playing with the blending layers here. Postwork Shop can really take some images and just throw them into really exciting new directions. Okay, don't be afraid to try things out. Go ahead and just try anything, and you very well just might stumble onto pure genius here. All right, now let's go ahead and do another new project, and let's bring in our still life. Now what we're going to do is work inside the style editor, and we're going to use a little bit more precision and try something out here. So I'm going to go ahead and come to building blocks, simple styles. Let's close this up, and let's do a let's grab a simple strokes and drag it over. Now you'll notice that there are several input plugs available on this simple strokes filter. What I'm going to do is grab our image and plug it into the image one. All right. Now let's go ahead and dictate how the simple strokes is being applied. So what I'm going to do is grab a simple strokes filter. A stroke directions filter, and you're going to notice that there's a purple plug on this, and that there's a purple plug on the simple strokes, and yes, it is just that easy. Okay, now we have the stroke directions directing this image a little bit. Now let's grab a tone mapping plug here. So I'm going to go over to building blocks, utilities, and let's grab a tone mapping, and we'll drag that over here. and we're going to plug that right into that. Now, let's go back over here, and let's go to our generators, curves, and let's grab a gain and drag that over into here. You're going to see that we have an amber plug and an amber plug. Yep, you guessed it. Plug it right in there. With my gain curve selected, I can go into my properties preview panel and go ahead and adjust this curve. Let's size these down just a little bit. Now, let's try something completely different and come over here to Styles. What I'm going to do is grab a color from a new image, and I'm going to have that color palette drive this, all right? So I'm going to come over to Building Blocks, Generators, come down here to Sources, and Image Source Filter. Come to my Properties and Preview panel, click on that image source filter, and let's go ahead and grab this. Open that up. Now let's go to our Building Blocks, Color Tools, and then the Palette Extractor. Bring that over here, and we're going to plug that image into it. And then you can see that the palette extractor is extracting this image's colors, and it's giving the palette to work from. We have a lavender plug here, and we have a lavender plug here at our simple strokes. Again, once more, you just plug it straight on in, and now this image color palette is driving the final outcome here. Now this is an example of using the style editor and simple strokes input plugs in a refined and more complex manner. Okay. Now we can save our styles that we apply. Let me come back here to the advanced layout. If you have some styles applied that you like and everything's working pretty good, you can go ahead and save that style as one of your favorites. And it's as easy as coming down here and saving the current style. There's just so many different ways that Postwork Shop works for you and works with you as well. As you can see, it's very easy to be creative and alter an image on the fly here. You can have a good idea of how you want your image to look ahead of time and just bring on the various styles that will yield that result, or you can just attack it with no plan whatsoever and just let creativity take over. There really is no right or wrong way to use Postwork Shop. It basically comes down to if it looks good, it is good. Well, I think that's going to go ahead and wrap up our webinar for today. I believe at this time what we're going to be doing is opening our channels up for some comments and or questions from you guys out there watching this. While you're typing up your questions that you have, I want to thank you for your time, and I hope that watching me work through some of the examples here was helpful to you.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Can you hear me, Ray? Okay.
I absolutely can.
Great, thank you. I learned a lot from your webinar. I thought it was really terrific. It was a good way for me to see the powerful aspects of the software. I didn't realize it was actually as deep as it is, so it was really good to see that there is so much power in creating your images. And for everybody out there, just jumping in and experimenting with this is probably half the fun, and I would think that you would learn a lot just by doing that as well.
It is, you know, and that's what makes one of the aspects of this program so fun, is because you can just wing it and just have a great time coming up with different styles and different looks, and before you know it, you have something that looks really darn good.
Great. Bella and Jesse are here too, and if you cannot answer this question, there was a question about, let's see, will the $49 version work this well, and do I plan to start with the Pro version? Meaning, is the Pro version the $49 version, or what are the differences maybe between the different versions that are out there? And how would they apply to the artist in their, you know, their expertise? Where should they begin?
On the website, it's going to show you, if we click on Buy Now, I bring this up here, it's going to show you some of the different benefits or features that each version has. So the difference between the artist and the Pro is essentially the same, except for the maximum render sizes and the publish styles. Maybe Jesse might have a better answer for that. Jesse, can you comment?
Yeah, I can. Hopefully everybody can hear me here. Yeah, so the Pro version, you know, it's an additional $50. It's the $99 version, which is the one that Ray is demoing here. Most of the items that he demoed today are available within the Artist and the Pro. The Pro allows you to have faster rendering time, be more efficient because it has batch processing of images, and it also has the larger rendering size. So it's up to you as far as which one you would prefer. Either one, I mean, both have a lot of feature set for under $100, but most of the items that were done today, you would be able to do within the Artist Edition. Hopefully that answers it.
Okay, great. Do we have any more questions out there, Karen?
Yeah, I was going to say maybe there's a question that maybe everybody can benefit from here. What is the output file format?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay, so it's Bela. May I answer this? The output can be anything, basically from JPEG or PNG up to layered Photoshop, PSD. So anything you want and what is largely used is available.
Yeah, and PSD is really important, I think, for this group too. That's something that they use quite often. So knowing that they can save and render in PSD, that's excellent. Let me see.
There was another question about is it a Photoshop plugin or standalone? What you have seen here is the standalone version, but in a couple of weeks we will start the public beta of Photoshop 2.0, and this will also work as a Photoshop plugin. So if you prefer to work from your Photoshop, it will be also available.
Oh, excellent. Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that. That's excellent. That's good to know. Shelley wanted to know, let's see, I would like to know how to achieve that eye effect in the advertisement, please. I don't know who did that. Gosh, Jesse or Bella, do you know who actually created that version of that image?
This was created by one of our users for a contest, a portrait contest we had earlier this year. So I cannot exactly say how it was created, but By the look, I would say she was using the same random painter filter that Ray presented today, just maybe in several layers and different brush types. But Ray didn't really show today that the random painter is able to work with different brushes, so you can select an acrylic brush or a watercolor brush or draw with pencils or markers, and this is still the same random painter filter. And you can also import your Photoshop brushes into Postwork Shop if you want, and use them in this auto painting feature that is random painter.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I'm bringing that up right now. So what I did is just apply a simple strokes filter over the top, and then I came into the properties and preview panel where we can adjust all of our settings and our sliders. And down here in the brush family, you can go ahead and choose or browse for one of the brushes available. And again, the properties and preview panel is going to give you lots of different ways to go ahead and change, just change everything. It's very powerful, and there's so many different styles that you can apply. You can also create your own brushes inside of Photoshop or any other program, and then go ahead and import those as well and use your own custom brush.
Yeah, that's nice. That's a nice feature to be able to use Photoshop brushes in the program as well. There was a question on painter brushes. I'm not sure that a painter brush in its default state probably could be used, but if it was a dab-based JPEG capture, I wonder if that could be done. Or Bella, do you have particulars on that?
Well, if you want to something like a brush stroke you created in Painter, you can save your image that you created in Painter. Let's say 5 or 10 brush strokes in Painter, cut it up to have a brush family, and import these images into Postwork Shop as a brush family. It can be done, but of course Postwork Shop won't reproduce the different effects what Painter programmatically does.
Correct.
We can just import what you already painted in Painter.
Very good. Let's see if there's any other questions here that we didn't catch. I think that's it. Nope, it looks like that's about it. So again, I'm just really really pleased with the effects that the program's able to render, and it's just again, I think it's a real powerful program. Bella and Jesse and Ray, I want to thank you for enlightening us today and showing us what a great software Post-Workshop really is. It's really exciting. I can hardly wait to go use it.
Well, good. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to show you all what it can do.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ray, and thank you, Jesse, and thank you, Bella, for joining us today. And for those of you that are interested, the this was a recorded session today, so the video will be available at some point to the people who registered for the session. And I believe Jesse and Bella have plans to use it on their website as well. So again, guys, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it, and thank you for all the members of Painter Talk and the digital art community that joined us today. I really appreciate it, and happy holidays to you all.
You guys have a great day.
Happy holidays too. Yep.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you, Karen. Bye-bye.